Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off talking about Nintendo Switch emulation with Yuzu, or rather, forks of Yuzu. It appears that Nintendo is still at it, trying to scrub Yuzu code off the internet. I mean, Provenance just got hit with a DMCA for their Yuzu code. Even Antique, who is behind Sudachi, was hit with a DMCA. Now, it's worth pointing out that Sudachi itself was not hit with a DMCA, but one of Antique's repositories that contained Yuzu code was. And Antique says, looking at the DMCA, it states roughly 8,000 repositories have been wiped. So out of curiosity, I took a look at the Sudachi GitHub, and everything seems to be absolutely fine here. If you wanted to see the DMCA, I can drop a link to it in the description below, and I guess feel free to check it out. They say they've applied this DMCA to 8,535 repositories. That is quite a bit. But moving on, and we're switching from Switch emulation to 3DS emulation, and we're talking about Citra Enhanced. This is a fork of Citra, and version 1.0.0 just dropped. Now, I would argue this revived release for Citra Enhanced is pretty big. I mean, there's a bunch of improvements, bug fixes, and new features for both PC and Android. For example, on Android here, they've implemented touchscreen opacity controls. They allow you to adjust touchscreen buttons individually. They've added a rotate screen toggle. And they backported Mali GPU fixes from Citra MMJ. From what I can see so far, Citra Enhanced seems to be an interesting project, pulling stuff from Pablo MK7's fork of Citra as well as Citra MMJ. If you are curious about Citra Enhanced, I'll drop a link to it in the description below. Next up, we're talking about Windows emulation on Android with something I'm a little bit skeptical about. And that is Mobox Edge. I've been pinged a whole bunch about this one today. They're boasting it as the new best PC emulator for Android. They say Mobox Edge has its own control, but we have not yet revealed how it will work. Mobox Edge is a standalone application without the need for Termux and X11. Based on this Reddit page, they say it's releasing summer 2024, and they've got some screenshots of some games supposedly working on it. Now, I'm not quite sure about this one. I don't know how it's going to differ from Mobox or Winlator. If you are curious about this one, I'll drop a link to the Reddit post and this YouTube video showcasing it in action in the description below. Realistically here, I don't know what to believe. I don't know if this is actually going to be better than Mobox. I don't know if it's going to be better than Winlator. And I don't think it's going to be better than something like Cassia once that releases. And speaking about releases, next up we're talking about a brand new laptop that's just dropped from Tuxedo. This is a Linux purpose-built laptop featuring an AMD CPU. It's called the Pulse 14 Gen 4. It's got an AMD 8845HS CPU, 32 gigs of RAM, and a 14-inch screen. Unfortunately, with the RAM, it's soldered in. You can't upgrade it. Now, this thing starts at about €1,250 or just over $1,300 USD. Next up, we're talking about PS4 modding, and the Flow has just released PPPwn. It's a kernel remote code execution exploit for the PS4. It works with firmware versions 9 and 11. In addition to that, Brutal Sam has a very informative Q&A. I'll drop a link to it in the description below. And if you wanted to learn more about the exploit, I'll drop a link to the Flow's GitHub in the description below. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. I didn't get to everything I wanted to in this video, so I'll put it in tomorrow's video. Let me know your thoughts about anything we talked about today in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.